Today we have an interesting comparison, and it wasn't intended to be, but definitely something that you might find interesting. And basically today we're going to talk about Trust Ozaa Wireless Mouse, which resembles to one mouse and is definitely a competitor to it. So today we're going to talk about Trust Ozaa Wireless Mouse, going to go into details with all the specifications, all the features that this mouse has, and a slight comparison to some similarities. Let's go! First, let's start with the box content. Of course, you get some sort of an instruction about charging and all the details and the buttons. You get legal compliance information. You get the cable, which is also white as the mouse, because I have a white model here, and you have a couple of varieties of colors. We'll get to that part later on. So, nice white USB receiver for the mouse, so you can connect it wirelessly, and you have the USB connection cable. Now, what I wanted to do in this video is, this is definitely a contender against Logitech's MX Anywhere 3, and I noticed that this mouse has couple of features that the MX Anywhere 3 doesn't have. Did I mention that it's half of the price of Logitech MX Anywhere 3? So it's going to have some cool points from my side, and I'll break it down to you. The first thing, it has a standard USB connection. Shame it doesn't have Type-C for fast charging, because then this mouse would be an incredible portable mouse when you're on the go. And if you have something like a laptop setup, or you're traveling or anything else, this would do the trick. But I do have to state that this mouse is quite bigger than MX Anywhere 3. Now, for the cable, it is also white as the mouse and as the receiver, so it kind of goes alongside with the colors. As for the design, the final finish, the looks and everything all together, the mouse is actually really nice, and I'm personally really positively impressed by it. First of all, I would like to say that the mouse is outstanding when it comes to feel. So it has an ergonomical shape so that your hand perfectly fits on it, and with the side parts, which are rubber, and you also have some sort of symbols that stand out for a better grip, I would say that it's quite alright. At the bottom you have 4 large mouse mats that basically give you the ability to glide over any surface nicely, and they won't create such friction. Also at the bottom you have an on-off switch, and of course optical sensor, which goes up to 2400 dpi. Now at the top you have a nice matte white finish, a bit of a grayish part which is rubber, and you have a side scroll wheel and 2 additional buttons. Unfortunately, the scroll wheel only has a middle click. You have also a button below the scroll wheel for additional functions, but we'll get to that part later on. So on front you have a charging possibility, but you'll have to use your USB receiver when the mouse is actually connected, when it's charging, to get a connection to your PC. Now, why did I compare it to the MX Anywhere 3? It's basically somewhere between the MX Anywhere 3 and MX Master 3 if we're talking size comparison. If we're talking about functions, it has a standard scroll wheel and it has a side scroll wheel. Now this function doesn't have the MX Anywhere 3, but the MX Master 3 does. And with the Trust Ozaa mouse, it's kind of quite nice. The buttons are really solid on the side. They don't have that If you push the plastic through, it will just go through the body and everything, and eventually will break. It doesn't have this kind of issue, and they have a very small clicky sound, which isn't irritating and isn't that much heard. When we're talking about the left and right click, you really have to press it hard to actually get some noise from them, because they are quite silent, and they even stated it on their box that silent click buttons. So this is really cool because it gives you a performance mouse that performs nicely, and it still gives you quietness. I would say if you're in a certain dining room or living room and you're working and loads of combination, the mouse is quiet. Also, it has a built-in rechargeable battery, which can be charged in 3 hours, so fully charged 3 hours. They didn't state anywhere how long does the battery last, but I wouldn't be worried about it since it's 450 milliampere hours, and I think comparing it to some other mice and taking into consideration how much user can use it or is using it, I think it will give you a fair amount of time by the time you need to recharge your battery. Now, everything here you see is basically an outstanding performance mouse, and even though it's wireless and some of you might consider gaming on it, it's more oriented, I would say, on office performance work and if you're going into stuff like that. The mouse, as I said, the ergonomic design gives you the ability for long hour of work using the mouse and constantly, just clicking and working with it, so your hand won't get that much tired. With the side scroll wheel, it'll definitely help you out with some workflow, and the two additional buttons are really cool to have forward and backward, or maybe even adjust them as you wish. Now, the button below the scroll wheel gives you the ability to change your DPI settings. The stock settings that they actually placed and memorized on the mouse are 800, 1200, 1600, and 2400. So this means you have 4 DPI stages. The wireless range up to 10 meters, which is quite alright. I mean, basically you could use it for some sort of an HTPC or anything that comes to your mind. And that's basically all there is to the main specifications. Of course, I do need to add that the bottom mouse feet are made of Teflon, so they glide better. You have an indication light that lights up red when you're switching through the DPI settings, DPI stages, and basically it's just plug and play. So you place your USB receiver into your PC and it automatically works without any installation software or anything similar to that. So if you want a bit bigger mouse on the go, this is something that definitely is interesting. Now, comparing it to the mice that I mentioned, I would place it somewhere between the MX Anywhere and MX Master, just because it's half of the price of MX Anywhere 3, which is quite interesting. The MX Anywhere 3 doesn't have the side scroll wheel, which can be definitely helpful if you need a mouse for work, performance, or anything similar to that. The design is more oriented on your ergonomics when you're using it, definitely more comfortable than when we're talking to the MX Anywhere, since it's quite smaller mouse. So for some of you guys, it might not be suitable to have such small mouse, even though it's much more portable. This one is definitely more cozy and you'll get used to it. Plus, it has very, very silent clicks. Let's hear them. I honestly don't know if you managed to hear the clicks, but all in all, that's all there is to it. So guys, yeah, quite interesting mouse. Trust Ozaa Wireless Mouse with a couple of interesting features, and I would say that it really caught my eye with first the design, the functionalities. Fortunately, there is some space for improvement, but they're on the right track, and I would definitely say that if you're into some sort of a performance mouse, that this would be the best buy that you can find currently on the market for 45 or 40 euros, and rechargeable battery, two scroll wheels, two side buttons, nice grip, nice ergonomics, and everything. Definitely a best buy in this department. I'll place the links below in the description so you can check out all the details and the price and where to buy it, of course, so you can check it out and eventually buy it, of course, if you're interested in something like this. And finally, if you like the video, don't forget to click the thumbs up button, subscribe for future content, which will definitely help this channel grow. And well, I hope to see you next time in another video. Thanks and bye bye.